everybody, Miles here, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be working on something very special. So a little while ago, I did a piece for my own bedroom, just to sort of hang on the wall, to match the color scheme of the room, and just because I felt like I needed a piece of my own artwork in here. When I was finished, I posted the picture to Instagram where people saw it and were interested in ordering something similar. I'll show you that painting here. So in this video, I am going to be creating 3 custom art pieces for 3 separate clients. Now this isn't my typical draw with a voiceover kind of video. You'll get to see a lot more of the process of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it throughout the clips. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Getting back to the video, I wanted to start by showing you how I begin the process of one of these paintings. So I start with a figure, in which I've kind of omitted a bit here because I draw with the nude model photo next to the piece, and I'm trying not to show that sort of thing on here. But you can see I'm going through a bunch of different variations of shapes and colors to sort of get this mid-century modern kind of aesthetic. Now, the client I was working with on this first piece gave me a bunch of different colors to go from. They said something with blues or grays and purple, or something with pinks and flesh tones. So I tried out both and ultimately decided that the pinks and flesh tones worked a lot better on that type of figure. Okay, so it is a new day, and now that I've finished the designs and checked with the clients for my pieces, it's time to get the digital drawings that I made and put them onto the canvas. I like to have everything all set in stone before I do this. That's why I make sure everything is set digitally, so by the time they go onto the canvas, there's no changes that the client needs to make. There's no changes that I want to make. I'm happy with everything and I'm ready to go. Because it's a lot easier to fix a mistake when you're working digitally than when you're working on a canvas. So as you can see, here is my little DJR mini projector, and I just have it stacked up on a bunch of board games right now. And then I project it to this canvas on the wall over here. I have it connected to my iPad where the drawing was done, and I have the screenshot save. Now I'm just going to align this better so it fits with the canvas, and I will start transferring. The transfer process this way is, in my opinion, one of the most annoying parts about doing a painting this way. I found it a lot more effective than actually drawing on the canvas. When I drew on the canvas itself, anytime I would make a mistake, I'd have to erase it, and that mark would always show. And the whole point of this sort of style of illustration is that it's very clean and sleek looking, and having sort of eraser marks everywhere would definitely detract from that. Okay, so it is a new day, and today I will be starting the line work for the paintings, all 3 of them. And the technique I kind of have for this, I really do most of my work in the digital phase, where I try to do sort of a contour line drawing of the figure. You know, sometimes I cheated that a little, but the point is to have a contour line look. Whether or not it was done, actual contour line, I can't always say that I do, but that is the look that the clients go for, so that is what I'm trying to do here. That's why you'll sort of see these lines that come across the body in seemingly unnatural ways. I follow the lines of the shadows that I'm seeing on the figure when I'm doing the drawings. So we will actually be doing these in Sharpie, not in paint, and I will then tape off the shapes I have lined out and do the painting aspect. Doing the line work for these pieces is actually probably my favorite part of it. It goes really smoothly, especially using a Sharpie the way that I do. On the first piece I made, I did try using black paint instead of a Sharpie, but the process was a lot slower and it had a lot more breaks in the line, where in a Sharpie drawing I can go over it afterwards and have it come out pretty much flawless. Now, the downside to using Sharpie is that you have to use a light protectant on it afterwards, or else it will fade in the sunlight. and this is something someone's ordering from me, something that's going to be hanging on their walls, and so I really want to make sure that everything is all set for them and they don't have to worry about the colors changing over time.
1 down, 2 to go.
As I work on these videos, you'll also see my phone taking small clips as I go. I was recording this for TikTok as well, although due to the fact that some of these figures are nude, TikTok has taken them down every single time, especially the one that you're seeing right now. Not sure why that is, but one of them has stayed up for months and has never had an issue. I really don't understand why some of these work and some of them don't, and I really don't understand what the big problem is with them anyway, but I just have to accept it. After I go through my first pass in the line work, I go over it a second time just to make sure the line is thick enough to show through the paint at the end. I want to make sure that the figure is not completely overshadowed by the shapes behind it.
2 down.
So the part of this phase that you probably didn't get to see was the actual drawing of these figures. A lot of times when people order these from me, they don't request a certain image or certain pose for the model to be in. They just leave it pretty much up to me and give me colors. Maybe some shapes, but usually colors, and that's it. I actually go through several different drawings of models and try out many different figures before I land on one that would actually fit with the theme.
Good morning, everyone. It is the next day and I am back in my studio.
And I am trying to have these pieces finished by the weekend. So yesterday you saw me do and finish the line work, and today I'm going to be taping everything off. I'm going to do that off camera just because it's really tedious and it's going to be really time consuming, and I don't really think it's that interesting a thing to film. And then I will be painting in the shapes on the pieces and going over everything just so it looks really clean and nice, and then I will check back in with you guys. So the initial taping is done, and from here I start in with color. As you can see, there's like quite a few areas that I will have to remove the tape and then paint in this spot later. That's just because for this one especially, there is sort of an overlap between this gray going into this that's going to be yellow. It's a lot easier shown here. As this gray overlaps into this yellow, you see you have like sort of a different color in between there. And I found from the last couple of these that I've done, it is a lot easier to do that color afterwards rather than just trying to mix the two colors on the canvas. Here are the next two. Same sort of situation. I'm definitely going to have to go back in and tape more things off later, but this is just the first initial part. The painting for these pieces is pretty straightforward. I really only use one large brush and I mix tons of paint and put it over one huge section. It's pretty enjoyable, and the most satisfying part is definitely peeling the tape off afterwards. I try to get a lot of different angles here as I'm also making a TikTok as usual. Little did I know what was going to happen to those videos. But you can see me going through the bright yellow, peeling the tape off onto the gray, and onto the transparent bit in between. As I said, once you get to this point, it's a pretty straightforward process.
Okay guys, I just peeled the tape off of my first painting and it came out so clean. It never comes out that clean. I'm so excited. There's like no spillover at all. There was like, it didn't go outside the tape lines at all. I spent probably like a good half hour to 45 minutes each taping off these pieces. Look how clean it came out. There's like a few minor touch-ups, especially like down here, but honestly, so good. And there's a ton of pencil marks, but I was using a freaking golf pencil, so. This might be it for the night though, because I have a dinner reservation, but so excited. Okay, it is the next day. It is nighttime and I really haven't had any time to work on this today at all, but I am going to just put the finishing touches on the yellow piece that I was working on yesterday. It's now all taped off and I will be finishing this last color, and if I have some time, we'll be starting on one of these as well. If not, those will be finished tomorrow. Alright, these lines, as you saw, not clean. Like, not clean at all. So now I have to go into a touch-up phase where I kind of fix all those mistakes. I should be able to fix it mostly because it's not on the white, and that's what's important. It's on the yellow, so I can sort of fill in those gaps and correct those mistakes. I did some off-camera finishing touches, and I think that I'm calling this one done for now. I'm gonna come back later and redraw the black lines where the shapes, you know. It's Sunday now. It is the last day for me to work on these paintings. So everything will be finished by the end of the day. I am about to start on the next piece. I've pretty much finished 1 out of 3, minus the sort of finishing touches that I'll come back in at the end with. Yeah, on to the next one.
The painting that I probably had the most trouble matching the color to was the pink one. The colors that I made digitally were so soft and so pastel, so muted, and I actually do not like working with acrylics very much, so I'm very limited in my selection of acrylic paint. So just right off the bat, this was kind of a struggle for me, but I do think in the end it wound up looking pretty close to the original. This was also a painting where the colored shapes actually went down the sides of the canvas, so I did have to continue the painting onto the side.
So the peel on this one actually went very well. I was a little worried because the second peel on my last painting didn't come out so great. Obviously I have some touches up to do with the circle, but I feel like that's just kind of to be expected, especially when you're working with a circle with tape. It's just really hard to actually get that pattern, so you can kind of see the jagged lines I need to fix, but there really wasn't any bleeding, which is usually what I worry about. So yep, just gonna fix up this and then we will move on to painting number 3. We are officially 2 down and 1 to go. I'm on the last painting and I've been knocking them out pretty quick. This one has a lot of taping I have to do after the initial painting, so might be a little longer, but feeling pretty good. All the pieces are now almost complete and they're ready for their finishing touches and then a photo shoot on the wall. All we have left is to redo the lines of the Sharpie where the paint had covered up part of the drawing, and then to spray them down with the UV protectant. Okay, I am downstairs in my parents' house where a lot of construction is happening, so it's probably very messy. Ignore that. But anyway, the paintings are being shipped out later today, so this morning I have to do the very important step of spraying on a UV protectant. This is probably the most important part of this process because I did use a Sharpie marker on these paintings. Sharpie markers and most alcohol-based markers are not UV resistant. They are not light proof, meaning that they will fade in sunlight. So I'm about to take all of these down into the basement of my parents' house where my dad spray paints and does things like that all the time. and I will spray on the protectant. I would normally say to do this outside, but it's absolutely freezing out here and I don't want to. For anyone that's interested, I used the Krylon UV Archival Varnish in Semi-Gloss. I like semi-gloss better than matte for something like this because it'll give a little bit more of a sheen. This was what I went for. Well everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this kind of longer video this time, and I hope you liked the pieces in the end. I thought they looked great together, they looked great as a series, and it was a really fun thing for me to do. I have a couple more of these. I have a couple more pieces along the same lines as these ones that I'll be making in the near future. This time, I just wanted to show you guys a little more behind the scenes of how I work the way I do. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. My social medias are linked in the description box below. Follow me on Instagram to see more artwork and more content that you don't always get to see on this channel. And follow me on TikTok for shorter pieces, shorter videos, and more videos that I don't always upload here. And I will see you guys next week.